Conor O'Hare of Warrenpoint, in the square in Warrenpoint, they've been booting and shoeing people for generations. It's a family business down there. You know, it's good to see it, thank goodness. You're kind of a family business over there because you work hard at Newry Veterinary Centre and you're a family of folk there from... You're not a sort of big conglomerate. You're there, you know the people, you know your clientele, you know the families. You're part of the family of the whole thing, aren't you?
That's it.
Yeah.
We're the last of the caring profession still in private hands.
Isn't it great? You know, it's so... I'll get rid of that there. And that must give you a great deal of joy because there's a special relationship.
There is a special relationship with a lot of the clients, especially the clients that you've known for a while. And people will confide in you.
Yeah.
Which is nice.
Yeah. The only problem is if they want to pay you with a bucket of herrings or something.
Listen, payment is payment, Rowan. It doesn't matter. As long as I get my pound of flesh, that's all that matters.
Ah, glory be indeed. No, we've had... this is Liam Fitzsimmons from the Newry Veterinary. I always have trouble pronouncing that word. Veterinary. That's the proper way.
Correct.
Veterinary Centre in the heart of Newry over in Patrick Street. And it's a joy to have you with me again. We've missed you for a while. We've each been running in opposite directions.
Holidays as well and people off. It's hard to get time to.
But we're now back and we're going to have you at 10 o'clock every Friday morning from now on. And
That's fine.
We'll try and make that happen, which would be very good. Now, the big thing is at the moment, the news story locally of late was the cats in Warrenpoint. What has been going on at all?
The problem is the diagnosis of poisoning.
Uh-huh.
1 animal you can accept, 2 you get suspicious, and 3 you have a problem. We as a practice encountered 6 cats. Forensic pathology is a problem here. The only people that can really do it is the police. And the problem is that a cost involved. And at the end of it, they probably will not find anyone to prosecute.
That's right.
Cats are not liked for some reason. I can't understand why. For if a cat goes into your garden to do its business, it normally buries it.
It does.
Whereas a dog will burn grass, it'll leave mess. But there was something very suspicious going on the point. And it broke an awful lot of hearts.
Yeah.
And caused a lot of suffering to the animals involved as well.
Dreadful altogether. I just don't understand it. And has it stopped now?
It appears to have.
Yeah, maybe the people involved got frightened and...
It's hard to know.
Aye. Were any of the cats brought to you in their dying time?
Yes, I think we saw 3 to 4 cats that were terminally ill and suffering.
You see, I know cats. I don't have cats, but my former wife, she has a couple of cats at home, and she loves them, and they're part and parcel of her existence. Yeah. And for her to lose those in any kind of circumstance, and with a cat around the house, they'll present the latest mouse that's caught, the latest young rat that's caught.
They serve a purpose.
Yeah, it's there for a purpose. They do indeed.
But also, people bond with their cats.
Yeah.
There are cat people there.
Yeah, there are. Yeah.
They actually say cats carry a parasite called toxoplasma, which is a protozoa. And if you become infected with the protozoa, toxoplasma, you like cats, whatever way toxoplasma. So
it's a way of getting you to like them.
It can also be dangerous to pregnant women. Pregnant women should never handle cat poo, things like that, trays, or even pet cats, I suppose, or else wash their hands. But this toxoplasma, they say if you have toxoplasmosis, which a lot of cat owners do, you actually like cats.
It's amazing. There's a kind of a feeling of metamorphosis occurring here.
They are a higher form of life, or so they think. They're the highest form of life, I think.
Because we are higher still, we'll allow them to think that. Yeah. And that
or are we? Sometimes you would wonder.
Indeed. But the cats, they're so... In Africa, they take the gecko, or the little fellow,
the lizard,
lizardy type fellow. In Nigeria, in the bush, they call them the omole, and the omole translates into the son of the house. And he's the son of the house because he does what's necessary around the house. He takes the poisonous and the bad things and he eats them and gets rid of them. So he's got the son of the house title for that. He's the protector of the house, indeed. It's coming into a rough enough time of year for everyone. We're getting into the winter time now. It's cold again. You blink and it'll be Christmas. Are there things we should be aware of in relation to our pets, or is the pet, the dog or the cat, absolutely able to endure everything that comes its way?
With a dry bed and a roof over its head, it can endure most things, dogs and cats. Cats will find somewhere comfortable to lie. Cats will fend for themselves, and if they don't get it at home, they'll go elsewhere to get it. Dogs, however, do need shelter. They need food, they need water. For very often they're enclosed in someone's backyard.
Oh, God.
And some of the backyards can be fairly horrific.
Have you seen some of these?
Yeah, we have.
Yeah.
With the USPCA, and now the legislation has changed with the councils. Dogs basically kept no shelter, disgusting conditions in backyards with feces and urine and mud, no dry bed, never out of the backyard.
Why do people do it?
I do not know. If you can't keep a dog, surrender it. Take it to council, take it to the USPCA, but surrender it. And there are people who cannot keep a dog for whatever reasons. Should it be health or should it be wealth? But don't hang on to a dog to make its life miserable.
No. You mentioned wealth there. Certainly in the Republic of Ireland there's been a period of, as you know, grave fiscal austerity. And things like thoroughbred racehorses, which were once cosseted and looked after magnificently, they've been got rid of all over the place. Have you come across any of that?
We have horses abandoned up here as well. Horses have been abandoned in the mountains.
My goodness.
Summertime's not a problem, for there's plenty of grass. However, come the wintertime, horses will starve again.
Literally?
Yeah.
Grass isn't enough to keep a horse?
No.
Even whatever grass there is, not enough to do it. And
I remember I worked in Dublin. We used to do the urban cowboys.
Yeah, I've seen them.
In Ballymun, Finglas and Coolock. And it was the first time I ever saw horses starved. But it was not through neglect, it was through ignorance.
Ignorance.
These people believed that if a horse ate grass, that was enough to maintain it all the year round. What did you call the horse market in Dublin?
Oh, Smithfield?
Smithfield.
Smithfield, yeah.
You could have bought a horse for £5.
Aye.
It has all changed now. The tax man is now the Smithfield. If you turn up in your Jeep and buying a horse, he'll want to know where the money came from, and you can actually have an investigation.
Yeah.
So Smithfield has now become a horse show rather than a horse fair. I was actually talking to a former chief executive of the DSPCA, and he said it's basically died on its feet, which is a good thing.
Which
Where you had young fellas that say £5 and you could bring a horse home, and no knowledge of keeping management welfare.
What about exotic pets? Because I remember doing a nationwide program over in Downpatrick on a fellow who kept snakes, and he had a room in his house dedicated, a bedroom in an ordinary council house, dedicated to his snakes in this huge thing in the house. Is there much of that going on?
There is. It's still very, very uncommon, but there are people with lizards and snakes and such like. And there's a big trade in snakes. Yeah. I remember many years ago going out one night with Stephen Philpott. We went to a house.
Stephen of the USPCA.
There were protected animals came in through Dublin Airport and they were coming north. And they've been tipped off on this and they intercepted them at the Mourne Country.
I think I remember. That's a couple of years
back.
Yeah.
But I remember going to one house in particular where these animals were bound for, and he had an Egyptian cobra.
My God.
That he could not handle. And if you went in front of the tank, the Bavarian that this was kept in, this thing would actually strike the glass.
To get it.
And you could see venom coming out of its fangs.
To be avoided.
Beautiful animal.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong. An absolutely magnificent animal with fanned out gills on either side of the head.
But in its place.
But couldn't handle it. And he actually thought he was going to have to gas the snake. He couldn't actually kill it. He's going to have to gas it.
My goodness.
To put it down, for it was too dangerous. See, a man at one stage had an alligator in a pond in his back garden.
It's nonsense.
But he had a garden shed full of snakes. Yeah. Most of them quite nice and non-poisonous. But there are some dangerous snakes out there.
Yeah. There was a couple of recent cruelty cases. First of all, the fellows who were in East Belfast, they walked free.
Yeah.
They didn't get. They weren't sentenced. But what sort of message does that send out to the community if people who have been guilty of grave cruelty get away very, very lightly?
And even Cody's owners.
Yeah.
The dog that was burnt, and that was intentional.
The poor dog that was burnt.
Yeah. 10 months and was it 6 months? partner got.
Yeah.
The whole legislation is under review at the present time, and hopefully it will be tightened up. But you're right, what message does it send out to the general public?
Absolutely.
Or to someone in that position?
Yeah, in general, we talked about the big horses of Dublin. We talked about austerity. In general, around here, I think people would almost give their animal a bite off their own table.
Most of them do get a bite off the table, including my own.
Yeah.
Yeah, but at the same time, the food bank now in the town actually hands out
For
pet
dogs.
food with parcels.
Goodness gracious, yeah. Remind me of what you have got at the moment.
I have 3 Irish Terriers myself. I lost my wolfhound. I have a rescue wolfhound coming tomorrow. And I lost my 2 wolfhounds in this past 6 months.
Oh, how did that happen?
The mother died of a nasal tumour, or she was put down because of a nasal tumour. And the pup, and people should be aware that the giant breeds are prone to a condition called cardiomyopathy, a heart problem. 2.5 years old, and I noticed it at an Uri show when he was put down middle of September with it. Just went into congestive heart failure.
My goodness, yeah.
I haven't been, the new Dracula film that's out, Dracula Untold, the pair of them were in it.
You're joking,
But
you're too.
I haven't been to see it, and I don't know if they're actually in the film or whether it was thrown on the floor when they were...
Aye, you're too, but that's lovely, that's such a thing.
They got a mention in the Irish Times in Saturday past. Somebody was there for the filming of the film, and there were 2 wolfhounds the size of Land Rovers, quote unquote.
This certainly up to the top of the wheel hub, and that would the wheel arch. That would be the thing there. Now, you have how long are you in the business now yourself?
25 years past.
25. You're a quarter of a century.
We have a class reunion now in November.
Aye. In broad terms, what are the differences you've noticed between the world that you trained to go into and the world that you now serve?
A huge difference. When I was training, it was James Herriot I aspired to be.
Yeah, of course.
Now the new graduates don't even know who James Herriot is.
Of course.
Small animal played a very minor role in our education, and that's been straight. I remember coming to Newry, and we were the practice I worked for was the only practice in Newry doing small animal. We used to operate on a Wednesday morning. Now there are 4 practices in Newry, each practice operating every day.
Every day.
Another one was pigs. Whenever I qualified, 1 in 5 calls were to pigs. Every farm had a pig. Now I haven't seen a pig probably in...
Isn't that interesting?
4 years.
Yeah. I wonder why that is. Yeah.
Intensification.
So I was going to say going bigger and
legislation.
More. Yeah. I saw pigs again. It was a nationwide program I did. The pigs were all kept indoors.
Yes.
And they were in concrete pens, fairly large concrete pens, maybe 20 meters by 15 meters or something like that, with slats in the floor. And that was the pig. That's where they lived. Yeah. And the manure from the pigs dropped down through the slats.
Pigs are also very intelligent. They say pigs are as intelligent as a German Shepherd.
Really? Yes.
So
they wouldn't be all that pleased with that.
Exactly. It must be very frustrating for them.
I did see on another occasion the most beautiful caring of turkeys and ducks and hens, where in the morning time the sides of the house were pulled away and they went out and they roamed in the fields all the time.
That's it.
And then come evening time they wanted to come back in, and they drifted back in again, and they were back into a place of clean wood shavings and straw and stuff like
Comfortable
that.
and safe. Keeps them away from the fox as well.
Oh, indeed, yeah.
But that's why free range is important when it comes to eggs and chicken. It's the Jimmy Oliver thing about production of. Then everybody wants cheap.
Yeah, well, I mean, cheap. I don't know. I would find it morally difficult. There's something in me wouldn't let me buy eggs that were not free range. That eggs. Do they still keep them in the baskets?
Cages, yes.
That's still.
I remember going out many years ago to a battery hen farm.
Yeah.
And I used to think free range organic was a load of nonsense.
Oh no.
But it really did open my eyes. First house we just fresh in, beautiful red Rhode Island reds.
Yeah.
Fully feathered, nice hens, quite content. 8 of them in a cage. Second house was a year old, bit dishevelled, not too bad. The third house, feather plucking, and the hens were mad. You put your finger out, they would have pecked you. If you put an egg in, they would have the egg devoured literally in 2 seconds.
That's awful.
So I have 6 hens as well at home, and a rooster for that reason.
Well, I left Mr. Carton's place over in the, you know, the Carton chickens over there, one of the biggest operations in Ireland, and what they do is they take their chickens in from farmers all around the place. And that's where I saw the beautiful free range thing. Yeah. And they come in the truckloads to Mr. Carton, and then they're put on and they go through, and they're stunned, and then the killing occurs. So it broadly, if the hen doesn't realize that going into the dark tunnel is curtains, it's okay, because
they've had a good quality life.
Yeah, a good quality life, and the one chick of the electricity,
and they're gone.
And they're gone.
Yeah.
So there's nothing really to be concerned about in purchasing good quality stuff like that, you know. Absolutely. So where's it? Well, we talk about next week where it's all going in the future and what way it's going. But thank you very, very much indeed for coming in again. Where do people find you? Remind the folk where they can find you.
Patrick Street, opposite the new Spar shop at the bottom of Barcroft Hill. And a couple of doors down from Heaney's funeral parlour. And
do your best to bring money with you and not a bucket of herrings.
Thank you very much.
God bless you. Go well. Take care. That's Liam. Liam Fitzsimmons. You're a good man. Thank you. Thank you.